Hello, this is Marcus Dempsey from TeraByte. This is a recording of a talk I did with a company not too long ago. I thought it was worthwhile just actually recording this again and just giving it out to the general public, just so it's raising a bit of awareness and everything else. So with this, it's obviously a presentation called Patchwork Security. And with this, it's pretty much going to be talking about why you should be using patching, what it is, and going from then the benefits. Okay, so who am I? I'm Marcus Dempsey, as I've said. I'm director of TeraByte. TeraByte is a cybersecurity company here in the northeast of England. We do cyber essential certifications, penetration testing, security consultancy, anything to try and keep your business safe and secure, pretty much. And again, I'm also an all-round tech guy. I don't test these type of pens, and I'm not one of those. But I do feel like I do that most of the time, putting out fires for various businesses. Obviously, I'm not a firefighter, but I go around helping businesses securing their systems and trying to reduce their threat landscape for cyber attack. So, what we're going to talk through today is what is patching, why you should be doing it, is it just for Windows? Hopefully, if the demo gods are playing, we're going to have a live hacking demo throughout this process. And not for this one, but we would be doing questions normally if anyone else was here. So what is patching? Wikipedia states that a patch is a set of changes to a computer program or supporting data designed to update, fix or improve it. This includes fixing security vulnerabilities and other bugs, with such patches usually being called bug fixes or bug fixes, and improving the functionality, usability or performance. And again, that's from Wikipedia. So I think pretty much everyone's seen what a patch is. If you're running any type of computer, even if it's a Mac, if it's Windows or anything else, normally every month you'll get an update coming up saying there are updates, do you want to install them? Even if it's on your mobile phone or anything like that. You click yes, it updates it and it puts in these changes that normally make your systems better. Sometimes they don't. But it goes in, it resolves any security vulnerabilities, and it keeps your computers nice and safe. Sometimes there's various feature releases as well, which will bring out new features. But the basis is, it's a regular thing that comes out. It fixes an issue with whatever software it is, whether or not it's the operating system, it's third-party software, or anything like that. Normally small, but they can be rather large, especially with Windows 10 these days, where they bring out big versions every year or so. So should you be doing it? As it says there, yes, you should be doing it. There's no reason why you should not be patching machines. Even if it's in a production environment, you should be patching your computers. Is it just for Windows? No, it's not. As stated before, pretty much anything can be updated, whether or not it's your mobile phone, if you've got Alexa, Google Home, mobile phones, anything. You just need to patch everything. Again, for Windows 7, as a state update, Windows 7 and Windows Server 2008 at the time of this recording will be no longer supported from the 14th of January 2020. After this time, Microsoft will not support it, and you'll be left there with no updates, and yeah, you'll be ripe for picking if there's any vulnerabilities. So upgrade to Windows 10, Mac, any other operating system you like, just make sure you get updated and go from there. So this screen here shows you how to update Windows 10. Just click on the little star button, Windows flag, whichever you like to call it, in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Go to the control panel or settings. Find the Windows settings. Click on the update and security, which is highlighted, and then click on updates. If there's already a couple of updates listed, it'll list them in the screen there in the Windows Update section, and then you can just click install, and it'll install it all for you. With Windows 10, it normally goes through and installs them automatically for you, or it can do if it's configured that way, and then restart your machine. Otherwise, it'll just nag you saying updates have been installed, please restart this machine soon. Again, with Windows 10, there's a lot of various versions of Windows 10 now. It's not just going up for 10, 11, 12, 13, as you can see. So as of the time of this recording, there are quite a few versions which are no longer going to be supported soon. So anything as of this recording up to 18.03 is no longer supported. So just make sure you install these updates, get them installed, push them up, because then you'll be covered for updates, security vulnerability fixes and everything else. So how do you know which version of Windows 10 you've got? It's very simple. There's a couple of ways of doing it, but probably the easiest way is clicking on the start button on the bottom left hand corner, type in WinVer, and it'll bring this box up as shown on the screen. As you can see, which is highlighted, the version that we're looking at here is 1903, which is the latest version at the time of recording. So a couple of screenshots here just showing you how to update macOS. Yeah, just making sure everything on the left hand side, everything's ticked to check for updates, download updates, install the updates, and making sure everything's all nice and secure. And on the right hand side screen, you've got the upgrade now button, which will just go through, make sure there's any updates, and start installing them. For Android, there's a couple of different ways. Obviously, it normally changes from version to version on Android, but there's as you can see, there's a screen saying check for updates, install updates or schedule updates, and the process of actually installing the updates. Again, there's no reason why you shouldn't be installing updates on your mobile phones. If anything else, you should be doing them as regularly as possible. Most providers send them updates out pretty much once a month. iOS, I'm not an Apple person, but I found a screenshot here that just shows you clicking on software updates and having automatic updates enabled. So, how about updating IoT? IoT devices, if you don't know, are pretty much anything that's connected to the internet. So whether or not it's Alexa, it's industrial control systems, it's Google Home things, CCTV cameras, your fridge freezers, your iKettles, everything else. But how do you install them? A lot of devices aren't fairly easy to install or update. I guess the main thing you need to do is read the manual, check the manufacturer's update, and see how you're about to go and updating them. The newer versions are slowly starting to come out and auto-updating, but it's still a bit of a Wild West way of actually updating any IoT stuff. How about your CCTV? How many people have CCTV cameras in the offices? You know, are they kept up to date? Is the firmware up to date? Do you know? When was the last time you checked? So again, double check with your manufacturers, make sure they're all up to date in the firmware and any recording software or storage centers that you have for them. And yeah, again, baby monitors. Baby monitors are made the news for pretty much all the wrong reasons many years ago, where people could eavesdrop in and actually get onto the cameras or the monitors and make noises and pretty much freak everyone out. Again, just make sure everything's protected, updated as much as possible. So this one here is just shorthand. So this one's it's kind of an IoT search engine for, yeah, it's pretty much the Google for IoT. You can go in, do a search, and search for anything on the internet. But a bit of a disclaimer here: be careful what you do if you go onto this site, and know your laws. It's alright just doing a search for it, but if you start clicking on them, trying to break into them, log into them, then you're going to be breaking various computer misuse acts depending which country you're in. So this one here is just doing a demo. So this one's just showing you some industrial control systems. We're just doing a search there on the port 102, and this is listing up all the Siemens control systems. Again, you know, these could be controlling various factories, plants, and all that, and you can just see in the map whereabouts they are shown. So it's all over the world. There's some in Germany, China, Hong Kong, Ukraine, China, everything. So it gives you a wealth of information, and this is what hackers and everyone else can actually do. They can go and just do a search and find what's available. You know, it could even be your house or your business. Another one here is just doing a search for remote desktop. Remote desktop, if you don't know, is clicking on and remote connecting to other machines. A lot of people enable remote desktop to the outside world, which is a really bad idea. So anyone can try and connect to your office or your computer. As you can see here on this screen here, that IP address there, someone's logged in as administrator, and you could potentially log into this machine by brute force and connection attempts. Don't recommend doing that. This is just for demo purposes, and nothing else was further done on this. So BlueKeep, if you don't already know, BlueKeep is a remote desktop vulnerability. It is a security vulnerability that was found in Microsoft's remote desktop protocol. It was first reported back in May 2019, and believe it or not, it's been present in all versions of Windows since Windows 7. So this is another reason why you should be updating your computers, because there's exploits out there, people don't know about them. There's things called 0 days where there's vulnerabilities that no one knows about apart from a select few people, and they take advantage of it. And there's readily available exploits for this BlueKeep vulnerability. And there's a link there to the CVE, or it's the security bulletin, which talks all about it and what things are. And now what we're going to do is do a live hacking demo. So what we're going to do here is demonstrate BlueKeep against a Windows 7 machine that hasn't been patched. And I'll just show you how easy it is to actually get a malicious attacker to actually connect to a machine, get a shell, or which is called like an established footprint under the computer, so you can actually browse the computer, do anything you want with it without the other person knowing. So fingers crossed, we'll go over to the hacking bit and we'll see what happens. Okay, so this is going to be our live hacking demo. What we've got here is a Windows 7 machine that's not been patched. What we're going to do here is just have a quick look, see what the IP address of this machine is. As you can see, it's this here, there, and Windows has just said there it's going to install some updates as scheduled, so that's great. So we just click on here, go to computer, go to properties, and we see that the computer name is Windows 7, no, Win 7. So what we're going to do quickly, also what we're going to do is just go to remote sessions, and we can see here that remote desktop is enabled. The exploit that we're going to use for BlueKeep is against Windows desktop, so we've just enabled this here to make sure that's fine. What we're going to do as well is just go to Windows Firewall, click here, go down here, and just to show you that Windows desktop, which is this one here, is enabled through the firewall. So although this is in a lab, it could be a real world thing where this machine is exposed to the internet and someone on the internet is going through and is going to exploit it. So we'll pop over to our hacking machine here, which is running on Kali Linux. And what we're going to do here is just go into a program called Metasploit. Metasploit is a framework for ethical hackers or hackers, and go through, and it allows the person to exploit machines fairly easily. There's lots of exploits and everything else there. So what we're going to do here is just do a search for BlueKeep, and as you can see here, there's one there. So just go use that, and then we're going to set the target here to just go to the one machine that we're going to have, which is 137 here. So if we look at Windows 7, 192.168.3.137, which is this one here. And what we're going to do here is set a payload, which is, I think what happens is once we've got a foothold on the computer, what do we do after it? So on this, we're going to actually tell it to actually open up a shell, which means it's going to open up a connection. Once we've got a connection onto the Windows 7 machine, it's going to then call back to our machine. And then we're going to do just tell it where to actually connect back to, which is this 3.202, which is ours. So if we do IP config, no, not IP config, IF config even, you can see 192.168.3.202 is our attacking machine's IP address, which we've got there. So if we do show options here, we can see that our host, this is the machine that we're going to be attacking, the Windows 7 machine. It's using the R port, which is remote desktop protocol IP port number 3389. We're going to be, this is our attacking machine, and that's the port we're going to be talking back over. Normally it wouldn't be coming over 4444, but this is in a lab, so it's nice and easy. Next thing we need to do is just to show targets to see what type of targets we're going to do. Because again, this is in a lab, we're going to be doing number 5 because it's Windows 7 Service Pack 1 or 2008 R2, and it's in VMware 15.1. So just do that, and then what we're going to do is quickly just do exploit. This can take a little bit of time, but as you can see here, it's saying that the target is vulnerable. It's opened up a session, and it's failed. Okay, so that's done there, and now what we can actually see is that it's sent this stage for the payload to there. Interpreter, which we're in now, is actually opened up a connection. So what we can do here is do shell, which opens up a shell, and now we're actually in Windows. So we can do hostname, and it shows you that the host name is Windows 7, and if we do ipconfig, it shows you that 192.168.3.137, which is in here. So ipconfig 192.168.3.137, host name is Windows 7. If I actually go and just create a text file here and say you've been hacked on the desktop of this user, I can go under here, go into users, cd users, cd admin. If I knew what the user was, cd admin, cd desktop, and then if I go dir, there's the file you've been hacked. So it's easy as that. You don't know if you're on the Windows 7 machine that someone's actually on this. They could be doing anything. They could be putting keyloggers on, stealing all your passwords, your credentials, anything else. Okay, so hopefully after that hacking demo, you can see how easy it is to actually break into other people's machines if they're exposed to the internet or anywhere else. It's very important to ensure that you have updates applied to all your machines. If not, things like this can happen. BlueKeep is one of the easier ones, but there's other ones as well which have been exposed over the years, which is just as easy, especially if it's Windows 7, Windows XP, 2000, Windows 10. Just update to make sure you're nice and safe. And then we've got the conclusion here. So pretty much just going over what we've been talking about is patching. Always patch no matter what it is. Just keep updating, configure everything to say auto update, and patch it. If you don't know how to actually update something, check the manual, check the manufacturer's website. For instance, printers, how many times was it the last time you've checked your HP LaserJet printer or whatever? Go to the HP website, make sure there's no firmwares available. If there is, download them, push them onto the printer, get the printers updated. Don't wait, do it now. There's no excuse not to configure all your machines and devices to get updated. As I mentioned, the easiest way, a lot of the things these days is just to configure everything to use auto update. There's no excuse of Windows, Android, iOS, macOS, anything else. Just configure them all to use auto update. And it's not just also the computers that you need to update. You also need to make sure that third-party software or software products are all up to date. So make sure that your antivirus software is up to date. If you use Microsoft Office or LibreOffice, make sure they're all kept up to date. If you're using Adobe Reader or some other product, make sure they're up to date. Just making sure everything's kept up to date. And again, if you don't know if there's any updates or anything like that, just check the manufacturer's website. It doesn't, well, once you know where it is, it doesn't take too long to quickly check for drivers and firmware. And yeah, I've said there, use a firewall. It's not exactly a patching thing, but it's again security. If you don't patch, a firewall will hopefully block a lot of the issues anyway. So it's just like an extra layer of things. And again, as I said there, patch. And then moving on, questions. But again, this is just a recorded one after the talk I've done. So we're not going to actually be taking any questions here. But if you'd like, leave some questions below this video that we'll have. And you can go through, answer them. If you've got any queries or questions or anything like that, just put the notes below. And yeah, I'd be happy if you could actually subscribe to our channel here just to give a bit of feedback. Click on the notification bell if you like, and you'll be informed when we actually push new videos out. And yeah, hope you have a good time. Thanks very much.